Jake here for Extreme Terrain, and today I'm taking a look at the Red Rock catback exhaust with polished tip fitting 2010 and newer 4-liter 4Runners. If you're on the hunt for a really affordable way to make your 4Runner a little bit louder and give it that more aggressive exhaust note, then this system from Red Rock might just strike the perfect combination for you. It's got a great mix of sound, volume, and style, and it's gonna come in at about a 3 out of 5 on our loudness meter. So this isn't gonna be too terribly loud, but again, it's gonna strike that really nice balance between additional volume and a better tone. Now, if you're familiar with Toyota's 4-liter V6, you know that it really doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of noise. In fact, the most predominant noise when the truck is running is the engine cooling fan, which, let's face it, not really the most sonorous thing in the world. But that's where this exhaust is gonna come in. So this is gonna make that engine sound like a true V6, something that's a little bit roary, a little bit raspy, especially when you bury your foot into the floor. But it's not gonna be unpleasant by any means. V6s can have a tendency to be a little unpleasant when you put an exhaust on them, but that's not the case here. This is certainly a market difference versus stock though in both volume and tone. And it sounds about what you might have expected it to be from the factory, just a little bit different. And it almost sounds how you might have hoped it would sound from the factory. Now, more noise on the outside means that you're gonna get more noise inside as well, just a fact of life. So inside of the cabin, you're gonna hear a bit more of that grumble coming out of the tip, but it should be minimal drone, and you'll definitely be able to hold a conversation easily and listen to music. As you heard from the clips at the start of the video, it's there, you can definitely hear it, but it's not obtrusive. Since this is a catback system, it's gonna replace those factory mufflers and resonators with this single bullet style muffler. Now, this has got some baffling in it, and it's a little bit hefty too, but it is a straight through design. So it's gonna make a little bit of noise. That's where we get that sound from. Usually these are gonna give you an idea of how much volume you get out of a system. And you have a little bit of resonance here, but there's quite a bit of baffling packed in, as you can hear. Again, it's got a good sound to it, and it's definitely gonna be an improvement over stock. Now, this exhaust also is going to exit in the same location as your stock setup does, on the passenger side, just behind the rear wheel. To finish it off, you've got this nice, large, polished tip. It's a pretty subtle update, but it is gonna add a little bit of bling to the end of the exhaust. It's got a nice slash cut to it and a rolled edge. It's gonna be something that the casual passerby probably won't notice until you start the truck up, but those who are looking will definitely be tipped off by it. Pun intended. We also offer this exact same system with a black tip instead of the polished one, and that's available on our site now too, so definitely take a look at that. Choose the one that's gonna suit your style a little bit more. Either way, they're gonna make the same type of sound. It's gonna be the same otherwise. The system is constructed from 409 grade Mandrel stainless steel, pretty standard stuff. It's gonna provide you with some better exhaust flow versus your stock setup, and the material itself is gonna mean that this system will have some pretty good resistance to corrosion and rust. Now, it won't be quite as resistant as a T304 system, but it's also gonna carry a significantly lower price tag than one of those too. Now, a bit of assembly is required here, but as you can probably tell, this is a nice setup. All the welds, especially on the muffler here, look pretty good. They look good on here too, and you've got this nice thick flange as well. Everything is pretty well made, and that's especially nice considering the overall price of this. Pricing for this system comes in at about $350, and that makes it one of the most affordable catbacks on the market for this truck, bar none. There's only a few that are cheaper than that, and they don't have the same type of material quality that these do. Now, it's a really great price for what you're getting here. Again, you're not gonna find a less expensive system with the same type of quality and sound for this price. So if you like how it sounds, you like the look of that polished tip, you can't go wrong with it. So if you like the sound that this makes and you're a fan of that polished tip, I think you're gonna be pretty happy with your purchase. Installation gets a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter and should take you about 2 hours to get the job done. Now, this is pretty similar to most exhausts. Access can be a little tight, especially if you're working in a driveway and not on a lift, but it is something that you can do at home. Now, this is a completely bolt-on system. It's going to utilize all of your factory exhaust hanger locations, and you've even got the benefit of these being adjustable. So if things need to finagle around a little bit, you've got room to do that. It is going to take you a little bit of time to assemble this, but otherwise it's a pretty straightforward job that you can do right there at home with common hand tools. In fact, why don't we head on out to the install bay right now and we'll show you how to get this one done.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, an air gun, an exhaust hanger remover tool, a couple different size extensions, a 13, shallow 14, shallow and deep 15, and a swivel adapter. What's up guys? Today we're installing an exhaust on our 4Runner, so let's get started. So our first step is to unbolt our tailpipe from our muffler pipe. We have two 14mm bolts on that flange that we need to remove, and then one hanger on our tailpipe to completely remove it. Now this one might be a little bit hard to see, but we're gonna have to go over our track bar and take our 14mm socket to remove our bolts. Next we can come about a foot behind the end of our tailpipe, and we have one hanger right up here. It's going to be a little hard to see, but we'll get our exhaust hanger remover and pop that out of our isolator. Now with our tailpipe free, we can wiggle it out of the way. Next we can start working on our muffler pipe. Now we have two hangers towards the front by our flange that we can pop out first. So we'll grab an exhaust hanger tool to pop those isolators off. And next we can grab the one on the front side of our muffler. And then we can throw that back on to our rod. Next we can come up to our flange and remove these two 14mm spring bolts. So we'll grab a 14mm socket to pop these out. Now we can come back behind the muffler and remove our two last hangers. Now it's going to be a good idea to grab a buddy to go back to the flange to hold that, because once we remove these two hangers, the whole piece is going to fall. So we'll grab our exhaust hanger remover tool, pop these out. And now with our hangers removed, we can remove our muffler pipe. So our first step is to install our front pipe. Now this is going to be the one with the flange on the end. We're also going to grab one of our hanger clamps. This is going to be the smallest out of the three hanger clamps. They're pretty intuitive on where they go. And we'll raise this up into place and reinstall our factory spring bolts. Now before we install our front pipe, if your donut gasket is worn out, this would be a good time to replace it. Ours looks pretty good. So we'll just install our pipe and thread those spring bolts back into place. Now once you have your two spring bolts in place, you can take your 14mm socket, tighten these down evenly. Next we can grab our hanger clamp and slide that into our isolator. And then we'll take our 13mm socket to tighten it down. Next we can install our next hanger clamp. So slide that over the edge of our pipe and into our isolator. And then once again we can grab our 13mm socket to tighten it down. And then we can get our mid pipe. The bend is going to be going up. So we'll slide one of our clamps onto the edge of our pipe. And then slide that in place. And then we can take our 15mm socket to tighten down our clamp. Next we can install our muffler. So we'll grab another one of our clamps and slide that into place. And then we can get our clamp into place and take a 15mm socket to tighten it down. Next, we can install our over axle pipe. So we'll take another one of our clamps and slide that over our muffler outlet. And then we can take our hanger clamp. The longer side is going to go towards the passenger side. So slide that onto our pipe and then raise this up. And then into our muffler. And then we can install our 2 rods into our isolators. And now we can go back to the clamp on our muffler outlet, and we'll take a 15mm socket to tighten that down. And then we'll switch to our 13 and get our hanger clamp in place and tighten that down. Next, we can install our tailpipe. So we're going to grab another clamp, slide over the edge, and we're going to get this hanger into our isolator first. This might be a little hard to see. Now we can slide our clamp into place, and we can take a 15mm socket on an extension and a swivel to tighten that down. Now lastly, we can install our tip. So we'll grab our remaining clamp, slide that over the edge. Now you can adjust your tip to have as much or as little poke as you'd like. I'm going to make it flush with the pipe on the inside. And then we can take our 15mm socket to tighten down our clamp. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Red Rock Catback exhaust with polished tip for your 2010 and newer 4-liter 4Runner. Thank you for watching, and for all things 4Runner, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.